Anonymous.
Retailer.
Anonymous retailer.
Hello, anonymous retailers. I'm Jason from anonymousretailer.com. Today, 5 punches to the lip that could impact your specialty retail operation. Let's get into it. Everybody has a plan till you get punched in the lip. Mike Tyson said that. He's right. You may think you know what's coming. You don't. Reality never matches expectation. Here's the reality. Retail is a cash flow business. That's the core tenet. Cash flow is directly correlated to high quality inventory conversion. Maybe you have an eye for fashion. Maybe you're passionate about kites. Maybe you just see an opportunity for a store in your community. You've stacked up some cash. You've secured a lease. It's go time. But here's what's coming. Over-optimism in planning. Over-optimism in assorting. Misunderstanding cash reserves, misreading business cycles. These are 5 punches to the lip that could rock your world. Punch number 5, personal bias, the kiss of death. I know what will sell. It's not about what we like. It's about where the customer is transacting and wants to do business. The operator winds up with a store full of what I like, the brands I like. You can't build a business like this. You have to be unbiased and follow the customer. What you love doesn't equal what moves. Buying operates on emotion. Selling reports back, this isn't moving, but buying ignores it because I believe in this product. The loop collapses. Here's what to watch for. Products sitting on the shelf you keep defending. Velocity showing strength in areas while your loved product has cash trapped in it. Here's the retail therapy. Assess the data. Understand where the customer is transacting. Push personal bias aside. The product needs to move. The path of least resistance is following the customer, not your opinions. Punch number 4, not understanding where the customer wants to do business. ASP. ASP equals average selling price. Total revenue divided by units sold. ASP is where the customer shows their hand. They're voting with dollars, and ASP shows you exactly where that vote lands. You don't have to guess. Let them tell you through their transactions where they want to do business. Here's the operating failure. You've got stock at $599. The customer is wanting to spend around $400 to $450. You have cash locked in price points that the customer doesn't want. Thin inventory where the customers are actually spending. The inventory itself might be exactly what they want, the right category, the right product type. But if the price point's at $599 and they're transacting at $400, you've deployed those dollars at the wrong price band. The customer revealed themselves. You weren't watching. Your buy sets intention with pricing alignment. ASP tells you where that alignment actually sits. Ignore ASP, and inventory doesn't move because it's priced where customers aren't transacting. Here's how to use ASP. Calculate ASP by category. Center your core offering around that price point. Build depth there, not at your preferred price point. Stock up and down around ASP for range, but the core of the assortment stays anchored around ASP. For new operations, you don't have ASP data depth yet. Keep the assortment small until you get visibility. Don't go wide and deep on day one. Start tight, let the market vote, then build depth around that ASP signal. Here's what changes when you bring your assortment into focus around ASP. You offer a more compelling assortment in the zone where the customer wants to spend. The bigger the target area, the more opportunity to transact in margin-rich goods. What you don't want is a top-heavy assortment that's not compelling. You end up having to gut margin revenue to bring pricing down. That's recoup. That's not retail. Identify the customer through ASP, build the assortment, sell the goods, extract the cash, move on. Follow the business where it's at, not where you want it to be. Punch number 3. The retail fog, the glow of peak velocity that blinds you to the clock. Operators mistake momentum for permanence. You have a strong 3-week run-up through the highest volume period of the season. You rang the bell. You crushed records. You smoked last year's numbers. Listening to an instinct is a present event. It's taking in the current environment. You cannot have instinct about future events. Your instinct says it's hot, buy more. But instinct doesn't know where you are in the selling cycle. It doesn't know peak from fade. Instead of acknowledging the win and sitting tight, you bought the top. You unwittingly deployed all your hard-earned cash into a falling volume pattern. 3 weeks later, business is falling off and payables are stacked up. The goods aren't moving. You're looking at inventory, not customers. You have to maintain spatial awareness of where you are in a selling and buying cycle to maximize and preserve cash flow. Retail fog breaks timing discipline. Selling reports we're in the zone. Velocity is hot and buying responds emotionally. Buy more now instead of strategically. We're near the peak. Sell down and extract. You're buying on the backside of the zone when you should be clearing on the front side. Here's the retail therapy. Hit the zone, put a dent in the inventory, move to the next zone. You're not there to live in it. You're there to capitalize and clear. Nobody went out of business because they sold out. That was Matt Powell. Selling isn't a failure. It's execution. The fog makes you fear gaps. The reality is gaps during the peak mean you extracted cash. You won. Reload after the pullback, not during the peak. Punch number 2, cash flow understanding. The confusion. Operators think cash flow means money in the bank account. What it actually is cash deployed, cash recovered, margin produced. Profit versus cash flow. Profit is an accounting scorecard. Cash flow equals a production metric. You can be profitable on paper and still go broke. Recoup versus production. Getting the second dollar requires skill. Here's the math. You buy a product for $1 cost. You sell it for $2 retail. $2 flows through your register. The recoup equals getting the vendor's $1 cost back. Production equals generating your $1 margin, and that's free cash flow. The vendor's $1 always comes back every time. The vendor's going to get paid no matter what. The retailer, it is on us to earn our dollar through execution. Most operators are in perpetual recoup mode, cycling cash and not producing it. The business is called retail, not recoup. Getting the second dollar requires skill. The first dollar, the vendor's dollar, it's coming back no matter what. That's recoup. The second dollar, your dollar, that's where the skill shows up. Buying right, pricing right, turning fast, avoiding markdowns, extracting cash before velocity drops. That's retail. The whole thing runs on cash production. Your buying deploys cash, money out. Selling converts inventory into cash, money in. But if you're just recouping instead of producing, your system's going to starve. The time problem. You put cash out to your vendor. Maybe it's up front. Maybe you get terms. You put cash out on your floor as inventory. You may not get that cash back for 30, 60, 90 days. That depends on how precise your buy was. The gap in between when you paid that vendor and when that inventory converts into cash, that's the time dilemma. Understanding inventory turn. Turn rate is how many times a year your inventory converts back to cash. How many times are you flipping that inventory around? The benchmark is 4 turns a year. It's a 90-day cycle. That's 90 days of inventory on hand. You start getting under 4 turns, and you're going to lock up cash. Under 2 turns, that equals cash being locked up for 6 months per cycle. 4 turns, you're putting cash out for 90 days. 2 turns, you got cash locked up for 6 months. That means you put that dollar out, hoping to get to that 2, and you're not seeing that come back for 6 months. Think about that. Cash loves speed, not time. Operators think about time in the framework of how long until inventory sells. They should be thinking in the framework of speed. How many times per year they cycle through their cash. 4 turns means you're cycling cash every 90 days. That's cash production quarterly. 2 turns, you're getting bogged down. You're only cycling the cash every 180 days. That's twice a year that you're cycling your cash. The difference isn't just how long cash is locked. It's how many production cycles you get per year. Cash doesn't care about patience. It cares about velocity. Why your turn rate matters. Slow turning inventory dims the margin production horizon. You can't see when cash comes back because it's too far out. It creates pressure on margin itself. The longer the inventory sits, the more likely you mark it down to move it. And here's the markdown impact. Back to that, I bought it for $1. I marked it up to $2. So at full retail, $2, you produce $1 in free cash. Your full dollar. When you mark it down to $1.50, you produce 50 cents in free cash, half of your dollar. That's a 50% reduction in cash production. You still recoup the vendor's dollar. That doesn't change, but your dollar got cut in half. You're recovering costs and buying inventory, but you're starving for operating cash because margin got killed. Rent, payroll, overhead, all comes from your dollar, not the vendor's dollar. Here's the critical question. Is inventory flow eating all of your cash? Are you deploying so much into inventory that nothing's left to operate? Sales look fine, but you can't pay the bills because cash is locked on the shelf. Why it kills. Revenue doesn't equal cash. If you're just recouping without production, that equals a slow death. Inventory flow that consumes everything with a zero liquidity buffer equals one velocity miss and the whole thing seizes. Not gradually, immediately. Punch number 1, the knockout punch. Bad open to buy discipline. Here's the unpopular opinion. Open to buy is not a sales planning tool. It's a cash flow planning tool. Open to buy and cash flow go hand in hand. Open to buy aligns with the sales plan to create a cash generating plan. If you're overly optimistic with your sales planning, the inventory flows follow, creating a cash flow crunch downstream. You're not planning what you hope to sell. You're planning how much cash is to be deployed based on realistic turn expectations and volume zone timing. Optimism in your sales planning becomes cash flow deployment without discipline. That's how operators strangle themselves with their own inventory. What open to buy actually is, not what to buy, it's cash deployment with a return timeline. Every open to buy decision is a cash commitment with an assumed recovery window. Open to buy is the control mechanism. It's where buying sets intention, not just what to buy, but how much cash to deploy, when and where. Good open to buy means buying responds to selling signals with cash deployment precision. Bad open to buy means buying operates blind. When open to buy breaks, the whole thing collapses. Here's how bad open to buy wrecks you. Number 1, you're deploying cash blind. You don't know when cash comes back. If it comes back, whether you'll have the cash to operate while waiting, or if you're deploying where customers actually transact. Number 2, you overcommit available cash. Bad open to buy locks all available cash into inventory. No reserves, one velocity miss, and you can't make payroll, can't cover rent, can't operate. Number 3, you deploy cash at the wrong time, buying too early and cash gets locked in before the selling window opens. Or too late, inventory arrives after the zone closes. Cash gets deployed outside the window where it can produce. Watch out for that retail fog. Number 4, you deploy cash to the wrong places. You have categories that don't turn, price points where customers aren't transacting, products driven by personal bias. You're funding inventory that sits. This impacts cash flow directly. Slow turning inventory at wrong price points means weak production, extended cash lockup, margin pressure from eventual markdown. Number 5, you're breaking the signal flow. Bad open to buy means your buying operates independently of what selling reports. The loop breaks. Selling is screaming this isn't working, and buying keeps doing it anyway. It's called retail, not recoup. The vendor's going to get their dollar back every time. The retailer has to earn their dollar through execution. Good open-to-buy discipline controls whether you retail or just recoup. Open-to-buy is where that starts. Without open-to-buy discipline, everything runs blind. Okay, here's what good open-to-buy discipline looks like. I have X amount of cash available in the open-to-buy. I'm going to deploy those dollars into categories that the open-to-buy is providing, centered on the ASP where that customer wants to transact, timed into where the volume zones are aligned up with liquidity reserves for when velocity may miss the plan, aka let velocity, not optimism, create opportunity. Okay, here's some examples of bad open-to-buy discipline. I want to buy this. I'll figure out the cash later. One is a cash deployment plan. The other is a shopping list. Here's the retail therapy. You need open dollars in the open-to-buy cycle 90 days out. This is the first priority. Then execute the sales plan against those open dollars. 5 punches, 1 knockout. They all hit the same target. Your ability to produce cash instead of just recoup it. Cash flow hits the hardest. Without cash to feed the business, you won't be there. None of this other stuff will matter. Let velocity create opportunity, not optimism. And to somebody struggling right now, pump the brakes. Let the floor sell down. Put intended effort into selling the floor down. Let the cash stack up. Let the velocity come to the surface. Then hold that velocity in place. All 5 of these punches are rooted in understanding cash flow, the generation of it, the managing of it. Retail is a cash flow business. You need a clear understanding of how to generate it, manage it, and capitalize on it. 5 punches, 1 target, your cash. Know which one's coming for you and fix it before it lands. If this episode helped you duck a few punches to the lip, punch that thumbs up button below. And don't forget to hit subscribe for more retail therapy for retailers just like this.
AnonymousRetailer.com